If you've been following my draft coverage, you would know that Texas running back Bijan Robinson is my favorite draft prospect this year. He was featured in my very first video highlighting my initial first-round targets for the New England Patriots in this year's 2023 NFL Draft. Then, I reiterated him being my top pick in my updated first-round targets video following the NFL Scouting Combine. I held my position that Bijan is an offensive weapon and not a running back, and should be on the Patriots' radar considering they have the 14th overall pick. Admittedly, I still believe the Patriots need to address the offensive line, defensive backs, and wide receiver positions. But now that all the combines, pro days, interviews, and 30 visits have been completed, I think the Patriots might have come to realize that Bijan might be the best player available at 14. That will be a surefire impact this coming season. There have been some rumors that the Patriots are considering taking Bijan in the first round. And although they are just rumors, I find myself nodding my head slowly with a sadistic smile on my face. Now, some of you might be throwing a tantrum at the thought that they might be taking a running back at 14, and this is ridiculous, and the team needs to focus on offensive line, corner, safety, and wide receivers. Yes, you are correct, but maybe not in the first round this year, in this draft class. I intend to discuss why Bijan is a viable target in the first round and why the Patriots might actually pull the trigger on him at 14. First, I will recap my previous coverage on Bijan, then I will discuss why he might be the best available option for the Patriots at 14. Bijan had an impressive 2022 where he averaged 6.1 yards per carry for 1,580 yards and 18 touchdowns. In addition, Robinson also recorded 19 receptions for 314 yards and a touchdown. Bijan is full of talent and is arguably the best runner and receiver in the running back class, which not only makes him one of the top running backs, but one of the best overall offensive weapons in the draft. In fact, some scouts have said he's a bigger and better Reggie Bush and can be compared to Marshall Faulk, with the entire offense being run through him. Indeed, sometimes these comparisons can be a bit of a hyperbole, but if you watch Bijan's tape, you can see how he is a superlative in almost every facet with an ideal body structure. Robinson has incredible cutting ability, changing direction in an instant. It is rare to see a back his size who is so sudden in his movements to outcut defensive backs and second-level defenders. Bijan has a quick first step that allows him to be in the hole instantly. His second gear is noteworthy, with the ability to break off long runs. His power is also worth mentioning, as he is not a small back and has the physical talent to break tackles to pick up yards after contact. Moreover, he has also developed the skills to maintain a good pad level and to keep his legs churning through the tackle. I did notice he also has a nasty stiff arm. Perhaps his most surprising asset is him to be effective in the passing game and will be a mismatch weapon. He runs superb running routes to create separation and has very soft hands. Furthermore, Robinson could be a great slot option much like Kamara and McCaffrey. Moreover, he has shown he can provide solid pass protection and will defend the QB with some vicious hits. Last but not least, he has been hyped to have a great reputation as a hard worker. He loves football. He's a solid teammate on and off the field. Bijan continues to grow on me and is 100% my favorite player in this draft. Bijan is arguably an elite power back, speed back, and receiving back. Yes, all three. If you don't think that, go watch his tape and look at his numbers. Look at the percentage of the Longhorns offense that was essentially Bijan. Like I said before, he's a bigger and better Reggie Bush and can be compared to Marshall Faulk. In my updated first round targets video, I mentioned that someone messaged me about Bijan versus Alabama's Jahmyr Gibbs, and there are several key aspects that favor the Longhorn. Bijan is superior between the tackles, in how he carries the ball and in how he maintains balance, and also how he makes the right reads off the blocks. He runs in anticipation of making contact and being prepared to secure the ball and position himself to break the tackle for a big gain. Another skill set he has is his ability to cut from the midline out with his legs and not relying on opening his hips. This allows him to make a quick jab with one leg to redirect, rather committing a large percentage of his body to create the power to romantize enough force to make a move. This makes his redirection incredibly quick with little to no telegraphing. Gibbs has these talents for the most part, but he is looking to escape to space and create more of a foot race. Yes, that sounds great, but that can be nullified at the NFL level. Gibbs has to open his hip and counterbalance with his torso to offset the forces created with his lower body. So, it takes a split second to get his center of mass back and force vectors back into alignment, meaning defenders are going to have an opportunity to bring him down when he's not running at full speed. Whereas Bijan, he is never going to give you an opening with his elite body control and balance. Plus, Bijan's measurables indicate he's a bigger target with a larger catch radius and also shows up in his pass blocking. I am still inviting you to go watch the Alabama versus Texas game from this past season. Bama's defensive backs were easing up on blitzes once they saw that was Bijan that was the one who was picking them up. In addition, his combine numbers show he is a more explosive athlete, thus giving him an edge over Jahmyr. Yes, Gibbs is faster in the 40, but everything else favors Bijan. And they even have the same 10-yard split. Let's take a look at their athletic profiles. Bijan is 5'11", weighs 215 pounds, his hands is 9 3/4 inches, his arms are 31 1/8, his span is 74 6/8 inches, his 40-yard is 4.46, his 20-yard split is 2.58, and his 10-yard is 1.52. His vertical is 37 inches, his broad is 10'4", thus giving us an RAS of 9.85. He has no tests in the 20-yard shuttle, his 3-cone, or bench. Gibbs is 5'9", 199 pounds. Hands are 9 1/4, arm is 30 1/2, and his span is 74 1/8. His 40-yard is 4.36, his 20-yard is 2.52, and his 10-yard is 1.52 seconds. His vertical was 33 1/2. This gives an RAS of 8.06. Now, Gibbs did not test a 20-yard shuttle, a 3-cone, a broad, or a bench. So, Bijan is bigger, heavier, longer, and more explosive with a substantially better RAS. Yes, Jahmyr has better top-end speed, but they still have the same 10-yard split. When looking at the tape, I invite you to go and watch Bijan's highlights with the filter of creating, and then watching Gibbs with the filter of escaping. You will see how Bijan had to really create his openings, where Gibbs was escaping through open doors. Don't get me wrong, I love Gibbs for the Patriots, and I would think he would be an amazing addition in the second round. But the argument that Gibbs is a better back doesn't hold up on paper and on tape, in my opinion. Why does Bijan fit the Patriots? Indeed, the Patriots already have a strong running back room with Ramondre Stevenson, plus they have 2 solid returners with Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong, along with a dynamic veteran in Ty Montgomery. In addition, they picked up James Robinson in free agency. But we don't know what is going to become of these guys. It is possible the Patriots will enter the draft looking for another ball carrier to bolster that group. And for those who really don't think the Patriots don't need another running back, think about the percentage of the offense that was run through Ramondre last year. Other teams could not eliminate Stevenson. Every play, at every yard line, at every formation, he was a threat. He just got burnt out. Another facet to think about is Bill O'Brien's return as offensive coordinator. Think about the percentage of Bama's offense that was run through Gibbs. He will maximize Bijan. Keep in mind, New England has yet to find a legitimate replacement for James White, and the third down conversion rate proved that. Into the bargain, Robinson could spend time as a potential slot receiver, or what they would call a slot back in his situation, to help fill that role when needed. Bill once said, "It is hard to find anybody's role on our team that's the same week to week." If he's there at 14, the Patriots should strongly consider taking advantage of the opportunity. Why? Well, the first round's talent in this year's draft is very, very thin. When I look at 2021 and 2022 classes, I see roughly 10 players in both years that were undeniably first-round picks going into the draft, with most of them playing up to those expectations in the NFL. For 2023, I get about 3, maybe 5 guys that are undeniable first-round talents, honestly. Most of the players outside the top 10 in this year's draft wouldn't be first-rounders in 2021 or 2022, in my opinion. For me, I see Will Anderson Jr., Bijan Robinson, Christian Gonzalez, Peter Skoronski, and Jalen Carter to be the undeniable first-round talents this year. Yeah, the quarterbacks are valued to be first-round pick, but I don't see those guys really even stacking up to 2021's QB class, and not exactly blowing away 2022's. Looking ahead, we can see that 2024's potential running back class has a few guys that could be first-round talents. However, these guys appear to be big backs or speed backs with limited track record or pass catching. In fact, I don't see many prospects that could be a receiving back next year. So if the Patriots were looking to address the third-round back issue, Bijan might be the best option because there might not be a viable prospect next year. Now, you might have an issue of getting a third-down back in the first round. Well, Bijan's not a pure third-down back. Bijan would be contending as a premier back. I love Ramondre, but Bijan's another beast in my opinion. Now, you still might be wondering why a running back when we have other issues? Well, it's important to note that Patriots Director of Player Personnel, Matt Groh, stated that you can't miss in the first round, and your first-round draft pick needs to be an impact player. Those concepts might be obvious, but it does reveal the Patriots are looking for a surefire player that will have an impact. One could claim all first-round players are intended to be impact players, but we all know there are at least a few duds every year, or someone that might be more of a project player. To recap my highest priorities for the offseason, I had offensive tackle, big corner, free safety, and wide receiver. Although I do believe the Patriots still need to address those concerns, we have to recognize that we have in some way bolstered those positions in free agency by either re-signing or bringing in some new players. My second tier concerns were pass catching running back, a more athletic linebacker, and additional edge talent. So, adding a blue chip running back with the pass catching ability will address those concerns. Moreover, taking Bijan in the first round would not be a reach and would almost certainly have an impact. Yes, the Patriots have a chance at some other top talent. But like I said, I feel like the only other surefire first-round talent is Will Anderson Jr., Christian Gonzalez, Pierce Skoronski, and Jalen Carter. I would be shocked to see if Will Anderson Jr., Gonzalez, Skoronski, or Carter make it to 14. Now, Bijan might actually make it to 14 due to the bearish valuations on running backs and the perennial need for quarterbacks. I must point out, the offensive tackle class is very thin with 3 guys that are 100% day one starters and about 3 guys that could start later on. After that, everyone else is a project or mid-tier talent. Corners are very deep this year, but I only have 2 guys that are 100% first-round talents, which is Gonzalez and Porter Jr., with about 5 to maybe 7 other guys that could be in the first round, but are probably more like a second-round talent. The Patriots will have a shot at a solid corner in the second round and even the third round. As for safety, this group is not only thin, but it is lacking very strong talent. Now, Brian Branch is my top pick, solid prospect, but I wouldn't take him until like maybe the early second round. But then after that, I'm looking at Jordan Battle, Sidney Brown, Jartavius Martin in like the third and fourth round. Now with wide receivers, I love Jackson Smith-Njigba and Zay Flowers for the Patriots. Addison, Downs, and Quentin Johnston are also solid receivers and I would be excited to see them on the Patriots roster. But the only one I would even consider taking at 14 is JSN. In fact, most of the other guys are not first-round talents really, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love Zay, and I do too, but he wouldn't be a first-round talent in the past years, and next year's receivers class is even better. Addison, Downs, and Quentin Johnston are decent second-round talent, but they would be reaches at 14 and probably even late 20s. Plus, all these guys minus Johnston are really slot receivers. And the Patriots already have slot options on the roster. Now, I will say I am the first person to argue you need to have a variety of talent at the slot position and amongst all pass catchers. But there are other slot receivers in this draft class that can be picked up in the third and fourth round that, yes, they're not as good as these guys, but at least they would be valued appropriately. The take home here is that the Patriots are probably going to miss out on the other top tier talent, and most of the remaining talent will most likely not be worth the 14th pick. So, really at 14, it's probably going to either be Gonzalez, or Skoronski if they're there, or Bijan if he's there. After that, maybe they feel strong enough to value JSN, Porter Jr., or Paris Johnson Jr. at 14. Will the Patriots draft Bijan? I actually don't think so. Why? I feel as if the Patriots are not the only one looking at this year's draft class and realizing we're missing about 10 players in the first round. By trading back in the first, they could go after a JSN, a Zay Flowers, Paris Johnson, or one of the other tackles or corners or safeties, and then use that additional draft pick that they picked up to maybe go after Gibbs in that mid-second or late second round if they really were looking to go after a running back. To wrap it all up, Robinson is potentially the best player in the 2023 NFL draft and has a superstar potential with the Patriots that they could use and they will value. Again, the Patriots need a running back that can come in to help Ramondre and can catch a ball and possibly replace Ramondre as a premier back. I will continue to defend that Bijan is the best running back in this class and can fill those responsibilities. Picking Bijan in the first makes sense because the draft class is very weak and thin in typical first-round high-value positions. Next year has much better receivers and tackle prospects. Plus, the running back prospects are nowhere near Bijan. The Patriots cannot afford to miss this year. They need an impact player now. Plus, the other concerns have been addressed to a certain extent. Last but not least, Bijan appears to be a prototype Patriot. I really hope we see him in Foxborough. So, there you have it. My thoughts on Bijan Robinson. What do you think about Bijan? Should the Patriots draft him? Where should they draft him? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.